This video is all about the backs. This tutorial demonstrates different construction techniques to create a similar pendant. I will be demonstrating freestyle, frames and a hybrid method to secure the stone at the back of the pendant. The cabochons I am using are approximately 30mm by 40mm. As it is nearly Halloween, I decided to wrap this Skull and Roses cabochon, which I made out of polymer clay and resin. This will be the pendant with the frame. I have sketched the outside of the frame. It should be slightly bigger than your stone. For this part you need a thicker, more robust wire. I am using 1.25mm or 16 gauge. I am using a piece of string to roughly measure the length of the wire needed. Bend the wire to shape. Normally, when using a frame, I would use a longer wire and use the top part to form the bail, but for this video I want the pendants to look the same, so I am trimming the ends to 1/4 inch or 1 cm from where the wires cross. For thick wires, always use heavy duty cutters. You don't want to ruin your flush cutters. I am marking where the wires cross. From the marks, bend the excess wire downwards. Pinch the wires to close the bend until the cut ends meet the outside of the frame. Use a cut-off of any weaving wire to wrap the frame together at the top where the loops are. I have cut 3 pieces of 0.6mm or 22 gauge wire. The length should be about 1.5 inches or 4 cm wider than the frame. Place the 0.6mm wire under the thicker wire and wrap tightly around the frame on both sides. Pinch the wires tightly to the frame and trim any excess. I have added the other wires to the frame. Ensure that the cross wires are in the right place to hold the stone. I now want to get a rough measurement for the base wires. I take my string and measure from the middle of the bottom of the frame to the top. Make a loop to represent the bail. Add another inch to finish the wire ends. Now double this measurement. This should give me a little more wire than I actually need, but I prefer to have too much than too little. Measure the string and then cut your base wires to this length. I am using 0.8mm or 20 gauge. These cabs are both quite thick, so I'll be using 6 base wires for each pendant. To get a rough measurement for the freestyle pendant, measure from the middle of the bottom around the stone to the middle of the top of the stone. Add a loop to represent the bail. Add the length of the stone. Add another inch or a couple of centimetres to finish the wire ends. Now double this measurement and cut your wires to match. I will be weaving the wires together with 0.4mm or 26 gauge. For stones this size you will need approximately 70 inches or 178 centimetres. Find the centre of the weaving wire. Start weaving from the centre of the base wires. Take the first wire and wrap the weaving wire twice around to anchor it. Add the next wire above the first and wrap around both wires. Add the next wire above the others and wrap around the 2 upper wires. Add the rest of the wires in the same way. When all the wires are added, wrap once around just the top wire. Repeat the same pattern but going downwards. Wrap 12 times around just the bottom wire. Repeat the pattern. To keep the weave centralised on the base wires, rotate the wires to work from both ends. Mirror the pattern on the other side, so start by wrapping 12 times around the top wire. Remember that we started by wrapping the weaving wire twice around this wire to anchor it, so we only need to add 10 more to this section. On this side the pattern goes down and then up. To get a rough idea how long my weaving needs to be, I use my string to measure around the frame and then match that length to the length of my weaving. I am now gently bending my woven wires to match the frame. When you are happy that your weaving fits the frame, bend the unwoven wires outwards so that you can bring the two ends of the weaving to meet each other. Wrap one of the weaving wires twice around both the inner wires to hold the two ends together. Now wrap the same wire twice around the two innermost wires on both sides. Now remove the excess weaving wires. I am now checking that everything will fit together. This is a 10-inch or 25 cm length of 0.2 mm or 32 gauge wire. Wrap this wire a few times around near the top of the frame. Get another length of wire and repeat on the other side of the frame. Line up the frame with the woven wires. Connect the two pieces together by threading the weaving wire between the two bottom woven wires and wrapping together with the frame wire. Repeat twice more to make a secure connection. Coil the weaving wire loosely around the frame wire a couple of times until it meets up with the next open area of weaving. Wrap the two sections together the same way as before. Continue connecting the sections until halfway down the frame. Repeat the process on the other side. Slip your cabochon between the two sections and into position. Continue wrapping the sections together until reaching the bottom of the frame. Now to the freestyle pendant. Wrap a piece of string around the stone to get an idea of how long your weaving should be and weave your wires together. Start shaping the wires around the stone. When you are happy with the fit, bend the unwoven wires outwards and wrap the ends together the same way as with the framed pendant. The obvious difference with the two styles is that at this point in the wrap, the stone of the framed pendant is secured while the freestyle stone is still loose. Although the process of the framed wrap has taken longer and taken a lot more steps to get to this point. As a bonus, this is my hybrid wrap, which is a mix of the other two styles. Start with the freestyle method. I have cut 3 pieces of 0.8mm or 20 gauge wire. The wires should be longer than the width of your wrap. Make bends in the wires where they meet the wrapped wires. Take a small piece of 0.2mm wire and wrap it a few times around the bended part of the cross wire. This is a good way to use those wire cut-offs. Attach the cross wires by threading the weaving wire between the two bottom wires of the weave, just like we attached the frame. You might find it easier to remove the stone for the first connection. Trim the wires a little shorter and make small loops in the wire ends. Add the other two wires in the same way. If you are having issues with the cross wires moving, find the point in the weave where the bottom wire is wrapped and thread the weaving wire through the bottom two wires on both sides of the weave. The bail will be made the same on all of the pendants. This is the framed pendant. Separate the 3 outer wires on both sides. Separate the remaining wires into 2 sets of 3. I am weaving with 0.2mm or 32 gauge wire. Wrap twice around the middle and outer wires. Wrap twice around the middle and inner wires. Repeat this pattern. Get another length of wire and repeat on the other trio of wires. Bring both of the weaving wires between the middle and inner wires on both sides. Take a 2mm bead and thread it onto one wire. Take the other wire and thread it through the bead from the opposite direction. Pull the wires tight to position the bead between the 2 sets of wires. Complete 3 rotations of the pattern on both sides. Add a 3mm bead the same way as the previous bead. Complete 3 rotations of the pattern. Add a 4mm bead. Complete 3 rotations of the pattern. Start bringing the wires inwards. Add another 3mm bead. Complete 3 rotations of the pattern. Add another 2mm bead. Continue weaving the wires while bringing the 2 sets of wires together until they meet. Wrap the 2 sets of wires together using the weaving wire to wrap the inner wires on both sides together. I am not using any particular pattern here, just make sure all the wires are wrapped together. The remaining sets of 3 wires are wrapped together using the same weaving pattern. Bend the wires to follow the lines of the woven area. Wrap these wires together with the other wires. Remove the excess weaving wires. I will be using this small screwdriver to help me shape the bail. It is approximately 5 mm in diameter. Bend the bail at its widest point. Separate the 3 outer wires on both sides. All of these wires will be bent around the front of the pendant and through the gap above the stone. Cut the wires with the ends behind the woven wires. The framed and freestyle bails are the same up to this point. Now to finish the framed pendant. All I need to do is finish the remaining wires. Starting with the innermost wires, I will simply trim the wires quite short and bend the cut ends up inside the bail. Save all these offcuts. They can be used for cross wires for hybrid style pendants and also jump rings, and I use them to make links for infinity chain necklaces. Now to finish the freestyle pendant. I have completed the bail the same as the framed pendant up to finishing the remaining 6 wires. These are the wires that will hold the stone in place at the back. Start with the 2 inner wires. Where the wires meet the bottom of the weave, make a bend. These wires are attached to the woven section the same way as with the hybrid pendant. Wrap the weaving wire round enough times to make a secure connection. Trim off the excess wire and make a loop with the cut end. Repeat with the other wires, spacing them around the stone to hold it securely in place. Our freestyle pendant is now complete. The hybrid pendant is finished the same way as the framed pendant. Here we have 3 finished pendants. The method you choose is a personal preference. Thank you for watching. If you found this video at all helpful, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Please join me for my next video.